What's up guys, it's Aiden, and today we're going to go through how the Weeknd made After Hours on FL Studio. Mark your calendars everyone, March 20th, that's when the album's being released. So far Abel's put out 3 tracks from his new album, the most recent being After Hours, which I want to go through today. Since this track is 6 minutes long, I'm not going to go through everything in this video, otherwise it's going to take like half an hour. So in the spirit of keeping things short, I'm going to go through what I would consider to be the most important parts of the song. Right off the bat, introducing the song, we have this bassy pluck sound. I created that using 2 different sounds. The first one is on Omnisphere, it's the pluck down, and I didn't do anything to it. Then I layered in this serum preset. For both oscillators A and B, we're going into digital. For oscillator A, we're using GS Cello or Zello, and for oscillator B, we're using Crush Wob, and I'm making it a pluck sound using Envelope 3, and Envelope 3 is affecting oscillators A, B, and the sub. Then I'm also layering in this noise oscillator, and I found it under analog, it's J106HP. Then I'm putting both of these channels onto my mixer, and I'm using Fruity Reverb to make the sound more full. Parametric EQ2 to cut out the lows completely and bring the highs down, and then I used it a second time and I brought down the bass and the highs again. Then I'm using Fruity Limiter and I brought up the gain to make the sound a bit louder. And finally we're using Fruity Reverb 2 again, and I've automated the mix so that it comes in later on in the song. As the intro continues, the pluck changes up a little bit. So instead of it just playing C's the whole time, it's playing A sharp and then G sharp. You also heard this ominous piano playing. I created that on REFX Nexus. We're using P and Nexus Grand Piano Soft, and I've turned off the reverb. For filters, I'm using Parametric EQ2 to get rid of some of the highs, Fruity Chorus, and Fruity Love Filter to make the sound a bit more lo-fi, and Fruity Reverb 2 again to make the sound decay a little bit. Then we have this sound on Omnisphere. That's the chill factor, and I turned off the B oscillator. This vocal sound plays at a few points throughout the song, and it's being used to introduce different sections. So here it's introducing a kick and this really low 808. This kick 808 loop plays for 4 bars, and then it introduces this guitar, which is the phasey baritone guitar. I found that on Omnisphere, and I'm turning off the chorus echo. You'll see here I've also laid in this vocal chant, but that's currently muted, and it gets louder as the song continues. So this plays for 4 bars, and then the 808 and kick get layered back into it. This loop here plays for a while, plays for 16 bars. Then we're introduced to this arpeggiator. I found this synth on Omnisphere, it's the Displaced Plucker, and I've turned off the Easy Verb, and I went into Arpeggiator and I turn on 2. That way it's playing every 16th note. That plays for 8 bars until we're reintroduced to the original synth. Then we're coming to the build-up. And here we're introduced to this new synth. Really cool sound. I created that using 2 different versions of Serum. The first one is covering the chords, and I created that using basic shapes, which you can find inside of analog, and I brought the wavetable position up to 2. That gives us a saw oscillator. I made this a super saw by bringing up the unison to 9, and then I copied oscillator A to B, and I brought that down to a unison of 7, and I brought the octave down by 1. To make this a plucking sound, I've automated the cutoff with Envelope 2 so that the start of the sound, the cutoff is at its highest, and then the low pass filter becomes more intense as the sound continues. A low pass filter just means that it's allowing these low frequencies here to pass through it, whereas these high frequencies in this blue area are being cut out. Next up, we're layering in the bass synth that I created in my on and on tutorial. I'll leave a link to it up there if you want to check it out. This synth worked really well in this song in adding more bass frequencies to the sound. So this is what it sounds like without the preset and then with the preset. Then we're layering in this downlifter sample, which I've sidechained. Now we're coming up to the chorus. So the guitar's playing, the heavy synth is playing, and the 808 is playing. The kick's playing every beat, and these 2 claps are playing every off beat. We also have a hi-hat coming in this section. Then the drop switches up a little bit. The 808's still playing, but we now have this new synth coming in. Here we're using the same sound from what was playing with the chords before. I've actually layered that with the bass synth from my Blinding Lights tutorial. I'll leave a link to it up there if you want to check it out. That plays for 8 bars until we have a new sound that comes in. That was created on Omnisphere. It's the Cobalt organ, and I've brought the timbre down a little bit. This is the pattern that it goes through, and it plays for 16 bars until it switches back. After this, the chorus starts to fade away into the outro. For the outro, the chord progression switches up. We have this piano, which is being layered in with a guitar. The piano is playing the chords over 1 octave at a time, whereas the guitar is playing the chords over several octaves. After this, the guitar and the backing atmospheric sounds are cut out, and we're just left with the piano. To finish the track, it plays this chord progression twice, and then it finishes on the C minor. That's it for the instrumental. If you want a further in-depth look, I will leave the FLP in the description. Apart from that, I'll play a clip from the song now. Thanks for watching, guys. I really appreciate it. Make sure to like and subscribe if you enjoyed the video, and I'll see you guys next time.